Vancouver. You went to Vancouver to record it.
Mm-hmm.
So are you from Vancouver?
Yeah.
But you lived in Montreal as well?
I was born in Montreal. My parents were Anglos. Bill 101 came in. We moved to Vancouver. But my parents are from Toronto. They didn't like Toronto, so they moved us to Vancouver. So I grew up there, but now I live in Toronto, and they can't figure out why do you live in Toronto?
Oh, yeah?
We left there for a reason. Yeah.
Well, what was it like going back to Vancouver for this album? Because it seemed that it was sort of the only thing that you could really do.
It was really great. I mean, the studio recorded in Armory was always been legendary in my mind because it was a friend's dad's studio, Bruce Fairbairn, and he'd recorded all these bands. When we were growing up, it'd be like AC/DC was in there, and Aerosmith, and In Excess, you know. So to go back there and record in that studio was sort of retracing the roots of why I play music. You know, when you were 16. I remember the first show we played actually was with Bruce Fairbairn. He played drums for us at a high school talent night because we didn't have a drummer. So he came down. He's like, "Oh, you can sing." So we went in and we showed up with like Bruce Fairbairn as our drummer. Like all the grade 12s were like, "What? Where the hell did you know?" We're these grade 9 kids with like this massive rock producer producing us. We had like a guitar. We had AC/DC.
Did you guys win the talent show?
No, it was fixed.
Yeah.
Which was an important lesson I would learn the rest of my life in the music industry.
Yeah.
It's fixed. This game is fixed.
Yeah.
So
Grammys, people.
It was good to go back there and record it there and sort of retrace where I was. Like even when you're 16, you want to play music just to play music. You couldn't fathom drinking on stage. Why would you need that? Because you're playing a show. That's exciting enough.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, I remember I was touring. I did this first solo tour with Chris Gonzalez from The Explosion, and now he plays in Loved Ones. I was like, yeah, let's try to do all these shows, like no one drinking, nothing. And it was like shocking. Even like every band you talk to, like you're gonna go on stage without drinking. I mean, I guess I know a lot of bands who drink, but it's just weird that we have to do that to play.
Was there a moment for you where you were like, okay, I need to like step back?
Yeah.
What was that moment?
Salmon Arm, BC. It's like we got in a lot of trouble. And I apologize to the people of Salmon Arm, BC. I really do, actually. But we got off this No Doubt tour, and we just didn't really want to play in this band anymore. Well, everyone else did, but I think I didn't. And the show was a little bit messy. And
had Pat left at this point?
Pat had left, yeah.
Okay.
So this was last August. So we just had to reassess everything, and which was great. But it probably wasn't that great for the people in Salmon Arm. But
that was kind of the breaking point?
Well, it was a folk festival, so I thought I'm pretty spirited that night. So I'm like, you know, they have the side gates where the kids can stand, and then the kind of old folks and families, they sit in the middle, you know, like in their lawn chairs.
Yeah.
So I said, like, we don't need a gated community at this show. Should break down the gates, and these kids just busted these gates down, came over all these old people, and it was just to see, and the folk. It's a folk festival. They look and they're like, who do these guys think they are?
Yeah.
You know. And
there were walkers flying.
It seriously, like, they were like, oh my God, the lawsuits that we might have to, you know, and it was just so, you know, just decorum.
But I mean, like, Bedouin, there was a point where, like, I was reading that, you know, you actually thought Bedouin wouldn't make it.
It wasn't even that we wouldn't make it. It was more that I don't know if we should.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing like seeing a band die ungracefully. You know, like, it's like you should have stopped 3 years ago. It's like that relationship that should have ended, but you kept it going and you're kicking that dead horse.
Yeah.
And I was like, if we don't have that spirit alive and well in our band, if we're not excited to be writing, why are we here? Otherwise, then we're basically just a Broadway musical, going around taking people's money and putting on a show. But it's not a moment, you know. And I think that's what. So that was why we wanted to stop.
Which comes back to what you were originally talking about, which was the music.
Yeah.
On that note, recommend 5 albums to a kid that shows up at one of your shows, and they're about 16 or so. They're playing their talent show. They need some recommendation. They need 5 essential albums for their collection.
5 essential albums.
Yeah. This is going to shape their...
The Clash, Combat Rock.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan, Blonde on Blonde.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of some... Asian Dub Foundation, Raffi's Revenge. Bad Brains, Rock for Light. So I got one left now, right?
Yeah.
So I did hardcore, I did some drum and bass. I had 2 folk records there, right?
No, you did The Clash.
The Clash, so I got 1 folk record.
One more.
I know, and I'm trying to think of it. Sam Cooke, just because the man knows how to sing, I just say greatest hits. But it's any Sam Cooke record. Because that is the reason everyone sings the way they sing now. He's the first soul singer, right?
Yeah.
So if you can attempt to even try to sing like Sam Cooke, which is somewhat blasphemous, but then like I think you're on a good path as a singer.
Tell us about Pirates Blend.
It was something we wanted to start a while ago, but we just didn't really have any time, nor were we really in the headspace to do it. But it's a record label, first and foremost. But
you're the first release on it.
And we're on my solo record's first release. We have a Rarities record that's coming out for Bedouin, which has remixes from Chaos and Bad Brains, King Brit, a few others. And really, it's just a home. Like, I mean, our biggest issue being in Bedouin was we have fans. I remember we went into Warner once, and it was like, okay, it was right when Stomp Records, we were on Stomp in Montreal. And
great label.
Great label.
Coming up to, I think, 10 years, 15 years, something like that.
You probably think more than that. Because how old is Matt Collier? How the Planet Smashers are like, Planet Smashers are probably celebrating like 50 years.
Yeah,
right
yeah, 50.
No, and they're great, awesome. And so, anyways, they signed with Warner. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know about being on this.
They came out in the '60s, the Planet Smashers.
They were the original, original white skinheads.
Yeah.
Matt is incredibly young looking. You would not know he's 72.
Yeah. Mike is going to come and beat me now the next time he comes here.
Matt, yeah. Mike Collier will, yeah. Or Mike McGee will.
Yeah, he's a scary Irish man.
He is a scary Irish man.
Sorry, anyways.
So they signed with that. So anyway, signed with Warner. So I remember the big issue was, okay, well, you know, my daughter likes your band, or like, you know, we like the band, but, and this is a conversation we will always have, is, okay, but how do you put this out? We know it could be mainstream, but there's no format for it. There's no radio station that's going to just play it. They have to kind of like it, you know, and get behind it. So we're like, well, if it's this hard for us, you know, and there's no home for us, there's no record label. It really was a home where it's with what we were doing. So we thought, well, let's do something where we can make a home not just for us, but for other artists, and hopefully in Canada bring about artists that are slightly different. You know, we can like the singer-songwriters, we can like indie rock. That's easy, you know, but it's harder to kind of, in Canada, we live in a country of immigrants. We all are immigrants, and the fact that we aren't making music which is cross-pollinating on all these ideas is a shame. Yeah. And I think if there was more of an outlet for it, kids could see more like of a way to do it, then I think, then it would be, that's kind of the impetus behind the record label. And we also are want to get into film as well. We've had Charles Officer, did Nurse Fighter Boy. My manager, Dave, did this music supervision for that with like Zach Ibrahim and all these stuff. So we want to start just broadening, and it's not just for us, it's more of like a think tank, which may be kind of flaky sounding, but kind of like, let's try to do some amazing things with some amazing people.
It's very Steve Earle / Youth Brigade of you guys.
Yes. Steve, hopefully we won't repeat any of those mistakes.
Well, it sounds like you guys are in a good spot. I mean,
yeah.
You as yourself as a singer-songwriter, but also, I mean, Bedouin. Yeah. You guys are putting out a new record too, right?
Yes, we are.
And when can we expect that?
We're gonna be starting. We've already started writing for it, and we'll be recording probably April, May.
Cool.
Have that out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Like it.